let's talk about voting methods and more specifically, the pairwise comparison method. So with this, we're talking about head-to-head comparisons. Which candidate is preferred most often compared to other candidates? So we do like one-to-one, head-to-head, and then see who wins at the end. So the candidate with most head-to-head wins is the winner. So we have 4 candidates, A, B, C, and D. The numbers across the top tell you how many people voted in that order. So first, we're going to talk about all 6 head-to-head comparison, right? Because we have A versus B, A versus C, A versus D, B versus C, B versus T, and C versus D. Doesn't matter which letter is first. So like B versus A versus B is the same comparison. Okay, so first let's start with A versus B. So I put stars next to A and B, and that's our comparison. So you can see with the first one, in our first column, A is greater than B, and that's 67 votes. In the second column, B is greater than A with 45 votes, and so on. So head to head, how many votes did A get versus B? Well, B wins. If you look at the total, right, B won 3, A won 3. So they're 3-3 in terms of who was higher. But if you count the number of votes, B gets 150 votes, A gets 120 votes, so B wins. Therefore, A gets 0 and B gets 1, because in this head-to-head, B wins. That's 1 point for B, 0 points for A. And now we continue on. So in A versus C, we go through each column and we compare. And how many votes does each get? So again, we're 3-3. A wins 3, C wins 3. But when you count up the number of votes, A wins, because A gets a total of 156 votes. C only has 114. So that gives us 1 point for A, 0 points for C. Now let's do A versus D, and we do it again. So A wins 4 head-to-heads, D wins 2, but count the number of votes. A wins 165 to 105. So A gets a point, D gets 0 points. And we're keeping track of these head-to-head points at the end, right? Because it's the most head-to-head wins who wins overall. So let's go B versus C. And then we do the same thing. So in the first column, B is higher than C. B gets 67 votes. In the second column, B is higher than C. B gets 45 votes, so on. B wins 169 to 101. B gets a point. B versus D, same idea. B wins 181 to 89. B smoked D. B gets a point. D gets 0. C versus D. C wins. Again, D gets smoked. So we have our points. So once you have done all 6 head-to-heads, you've awarded the points, 1 point for the head-to-head win, 0 points for the head-to-head loss. We can see that the winner is B. A won 2 head-to-heads. B won 3 head-to-heads. C only won 1. And D never won a head-to-head vote. Sorry, candidate D, you are the biggest loser. But the big thing is who won the most, and that is candidate B. Now, you might notice this can be a little tricky, and we tend to have some ties. And that's where this one can be maybe not as great. But the big key is you count the votes for each head-to-head, who wins the most head-to-head comparisons, and that is the winner of this particular vote.